Okay,
Perfect. Thanks
awesome.
for making it, guys, on your busy lunch hours.
Yeah, great. So, as you know, we're about to talk to you guys about tipping the scale in your favor. So, 3 secrets for creating a healthier and happier you.
So yeah, we want to talk about how to go from dieting and discouragement to a healthy weight and loving your body and lifestyle again. And we always use simple, realistic, and sustainable lifestyle changes. That's what we're all about.
Yes, exactly. And those of you that know us know that we really come from a place of where, you know, kind of the experiences that we've been through, and therefore we try to translate that into sharing with our clients and each of you. So a little bit more about us. Go ahead, Lisa, and maybe share a bit more about your journey there.
Sure, yeah. So as you can see, I'm a mom. I have a 5-year-old. I'm also an ND, and I'm a women's health expert. And I like to help busy professionals get more energized and find their balance in the chaos of life while creating healthy habits that last. That's kind of my deal and what I like to do and bring to the table.
Yeah, and so I'm Jody. I'm a dietitian, and that's me with my dog Marty there in the picture. And so my big thing is helping people curb their confusion about nutrition and realize, you know, that you can achieve that healthy weight and you can achieve a healthy lifestyle without having to go on any fad diets or feel deprived or restricted, and really just feeling empowered to know that it's the simple, realistic, and sustainable approach that can really make a difference for you.
Mm-hmm.
So today, because we know you guys, a lot of you are on your lunch hour, so that's why we kept it to 45 minutes. So we're going to go pretty quickly, but at the same time, you'll see at the bottom, there is a little question box. So anytime you have a question, you can pop that up and let us know. And then at the end, we'll reserve a couple minutes to get to those questions for you, okay?
And if you ever can't hear us or anything, just raise your hand and let us know.
Yeah, definitely. And also, hopefully you all have downloaded the action guide. So use that to go through, and there's opportunities to fill in notes and add in some reflections, and we'll prompt you for that as well as we go along.
Okay, so also we want you to stick with us till the end. So we really want to give you some strategies you can use right away. That's why we have the action guide there as well. We want you to be able to start this like today, like tomorrow, right away. So stick around to the end. You're going to get a copy of this recording, the slide presentation, and also receive an opportunity to work with us.
Yeah, absolutely. So hang in there till the end and you'll get those bonuses. Okay, so question for you all. What's the hardest part about being a busy woman trying to keep yourself and your family healthy and happy?
Yeah, so that's kind of that's a big question. So we find, and definitely we want you to think about this as we're going through. You can even write it in your notes or reflections on your action page. But basically, we find that we hear a lot that, you know, there's no energy left to, you know, after you're taking care of your family and your busy work day, everything's going to your work and your family, and there's nothing left for you. So we hear that a lot. So that can often be the hardest part. And there's no time left for you. So that's one of the big ones.
Yeah, it's part of that whole superwoman syndrome, right? So you do everything for everyone else, but sometimes it's you that goes to the bottom of the priority list. So that's part of the shift that we're trying to encourage in everybody.
Yeah.
Now, think about, like, what would it be like for you if you were able to create a healthy lifestyle that you absolutely love? Like, think about it for a moment. Like, even if you want to take a deep breath, close your eyes, and like, what's that feel like? Envision that.
Yeah, what would that look like for you? Just envision, even if it seems so unrealistic right now, we still want you to hold that picture in your head. What would that look like? What would you be doing? What would you feel? And that's really powerful. Just our brains and how they work, like creating that 3D, like that full
that
image in your head, that visualization can be really huge. So we want you guys to just take, 10 seconds right now and think about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, yeah, so then we wanted to talk a little bit more about ourselves, not for too long though, just how we've been through this. We're actually in it now, we live busy lives, it can be stressful, there's many demands on your time. We've been through a lot of these challenges. The difference, and basically the difference is that we've always been really busy, and now we've kind of figured out how to make that work for us so we can still take care of ourselves and be busy at the same time.
Yes, and it's a really important thing to think about, is because sometimes that we see like with our clients that come see us, I you know, that feeling like, oh, like you have it all together, or like, what's your secret? And like, honest to goodness, like me on average, I'm juggling 3 different jobs, Lisa as well, and she has a young daughter, and we have like the same like work life personal issues as everybody else.
Yeah.
And so it's been through that, and, you know, experiencing that, you know, that burnout and the time crunches, and recognizing that, you know, it doesn't have to be all or nothing. It's just honestly those small little shifts and those habits that make a big difference. Because when you have enough stress on your plate and enough going on, like to be stressed about your lifestyle and stressed about your diet and your exercise as well, it's too much. So it's about that balance.
Okay. So the big problem, you can see some of the problems here in these pictures. So basically, diets don't work. That's one of the our big philosophies and tenets here. We have a little stat that 80% of people who go on a diet to lose weight, that's why they're going on the diet, end up regaining it. Yeah. So that's pretty powerful. Like 80% of people.
Oh, absolutely. And so it's not just our opinion or experience. Like it's actual research, evidence-based. If you're looking at studies of people who have tried to lose weight, like going on these, you know, whether you want to think of it as a fad diet or a quick fix or anything like that, where it's a temporary period of time, like they don't work in the long run. They might in the short run, but then think about it. Think about your experience with trying to achieve that ideal healthy weight. Like how many times have you gone on something then off and then on and then off? And when you think about it, has it ever worked in the long run?
Yeah. So the other big part can be the confusion, like nutrition confusion. There's too much information out there. That's a huge thing I'm finding with clients. They're like, great, I Googled the heck out of this, or I've tried X, Y, and Z from online programs and nutrition templates or whatever else. And then they end up just feeling stuck and dropping it all.
Exactly. Because what do I listen? What do I believe? Who do I listen to? And then it's just kind of giving it up. So that's part of like why we're so passionate, and part of our mission of being here today is to help you guys kind of sort through that and clear that confusion. Yeah, so we've said this before, but just to really emphasize, it all comes down to habits, right? So habit-based approach, simple, realistic, and sustainable. So, you know, whenever you think about making a change, always asking yourself, like, can I see myself continuing this change, is a really important question to ask yourself. And the answer is, I'm not sure, or no, then that's a red flag. And sometimes you need to experiment and try it, you know, before you know if it's something that can give you those lasting results, but it definitely has to fit with your lifestyle.
For sure. Okay, so then.
Yeah, so thinking about right now, think about like, what is your goal? Like what made you sign up for our webinar today? And what is the end point for you? Like what are you really hoping to achieve when it comes to your health? And sometimes it's good to think about, oh, maybe our goal is, oh, I want to lose weight, or I want to feel more energy. And like, these are awesome. And it definitely, these are part of what we're aiming for. But then think about why, right? Like, why do we want to lose weight? Why do we want more energy? And those are usually linked to things like have more energy for my family, for my kids, to be in a better mood, to do better at work, to really to be our healthiest self, right? And that's, you know, we can think about it from that aesthetic perspective. Like it feels great to, you know, fit in our favorite clothes and look good, but ultimately it's because we want to have a successful life, right?
Yeah. So we want to be able to be successful and have time for all of those things. Yeah, what's kind of like we were saying, what worked for us through this whole process, and that's why we designed this, because this has worked for us and our clients, is yeah, you know, we now have a clear plan for us that works for us and our clients. You know, we want to have support from different people, like-minded people, and get that knowledge out there. And yeah, Jody and I consider ourselves lucky to have access to this information and know what's real and what's not. So that's why we're sharing today.
Absolutely. So kind of sum up what our mission is. It's to help and educate and empower busy women just like you, and also gentlemen as well. I believe we have a few in the group. We're welcome that you're here. We love that you're here as well. In general, we do tend to target busy women like ourselves, but of course, guys are included as well.
And partners as well. It's great to do it with your partner too.
Yep.
We definitely encourage that.
Yeah, for sure. And then overall, it's to realize, that diets are dead end. They're a dead end. So instead, it's about embracing the sustainable habits so that you can love your lifestyle and feel comfortable in your body.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's also, I think a big important thing we should mention too is that we're really passionate about getting people away from this cycle of diet after diet. Like, it's like we just see it happening so much, and it's very
it's disheartening.
It's disheartening to see it as professionals and seeing the bad information that's out there. So again, we feel lucky to have this information and be able to share it with you.
Yeah,
so that's a huge thing, because the diet industry is big.
Yeah, and they end up making you feeling like you're the failure when that's not the case at all.
Exactly.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. So at this moment, we've been talking for a few minutes. We're just going to shift and ask you guys to take out your action plan and think for a second, like, what's been helpful so far?
Okay. Anything ring true for you, or did it bring up anything for you? Make a note.
Yeah, and you can take a note, you can write that down, or just reflect for a second. Okay, so moving forward.
Okay, so we wanted to, this is actually the Craving Healthy Habits program kind of outlined for you. So we've, from putting all this information from our experience together and what's been helping people, we broke it down into 3 different parts. So the first step we found that works for people is reflection. So you have to take that moment to really reflect what's been working, what hasn't, where am I at, what are my main goals right now, and why do I want it, like Jody was mentioning. And the next big thing is reorganize. We have to shuffle things around a bit, take some of the tools and information that's really important and integrate that into our life, take those steps forward, and then reinforce. We need to reinforce what we've learned, make sure it becomes consistent, so those habits continue forward.
Yeah.
So those are the big 3 words that we wanted to share with you, and those are actually going to be a big part of this presentation.
Yeah. So
we'll get into more.
Absolutely. So kind of keep that as the big picture, and then realize, like, the really key message about this slide is that, like, you don't fail the diet fails you. So we had mentioned that just a moment ago in terms of the dieting industry, but really let that sink in and resonate, because if you have been on diets in the past and maybe you came on this thinking like, oh, maybe this is going to be the diet that they're going to share, this is finally going to work. No, that's not the case. So really recognizing and making that shift. So rather than feeling discouraged, starting to feel empowered that you're going to start going about things in the right way.
Okay, that's our 3 big words again, that the journey basically that we would bring you through if you're our client or through a program would be, reflection, reorganize, and reinforce. Yeah,
but keeping in mind too, like, because what we're sharing with you is some concrete information. So these are our 3 secrets, right? So when we were saying about that, like, what are those secrets? What are those strategies? Like, these are like the big umbrella terms, but we're going to now break them down for you. So the first one is that reflection. Okay. So number 1 secret is you need to pause for a moment. We're always in this fast-paced, go world. And when do you actually take a moment to kind of stop and pause and reflect? And part of that is feeling, right? Like tuning in, like thinking, like, why am I where I am right now? Like, what are those barriers I've experienced? What are some things that are holding me back?
And that can be as simple as right now, as we've been kind of prompting you to do, participating with your action planner.
Yeah.
And how long is that going to take, right? Even if you take 5 minutes right now and take some time with the action planner, spending the time with us now. But also, as I tell clients all the time, I find even just this works, feeling can be as simple as taking 5 seconds before you sit down to get your food. Yeah. When you're driving, taking a deep breath, taking 5 seconds to focus on your breathing. It doesn't have to be, okay, I'm going to meditate for 20 minutes for an hour.
No.
That's not what we're talking about here when we say feeling. You're like, shoot, I'm too busy to have time to feel. I got to go here and do this and go to work. That's not what we're saying.
It's just small.
It's small little things. So foundation. So some of the foundational things, ditch the diet, as we're gonna keep saying as well, and embracing the healthy habits. So that's kind of the foundation of these changes. And fun.
Yeah.
really? Do we mean you're allowed to have fun? What kind of, again, this is not your typical strict diet program or anything like that we're talking about today. We want to encourage, and it's encouraged and actually necessary to have things that are realistic and you enjoy doing for healthy habits. Not something that, okay, I better do this because they said I had to.
Exactly. Like if it feels like you're being forced or deprived or, anything in a negative tone, like that's not a good sign. So really part of what we're talking about today is that fun aspect and the self-care aspect. Okay, so now we want to share with you guys the top 3 mistakes that keep you stuck on the roller coaster of being on and off, that continual diet pattern. So then it always leaves you not getting results. It actually makes it harder for you to get results every single time, because every time you lose weight and then your metabolism goes down and then you regain the weight and it just gets harder and harder.
You get stuck on that cycle.
Yeah.
So defeat and deplete. So you end up feeling defeated and depleted at the end of doing one of these diet cycles. We're not listening to our bodies or what your body needs. And you can just end up starving yourself, etc. So that's a defeat and deplete.
Yeah, and that kind of leads into, feeling like you're ignoring your instincts, right? So I'm hungry right now. Oh, but the diet plan says I shouldn't be eating.
Yeah,
right?
I should only eat this amount at this time with these foods, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I mean, intuitively, we all know how to eat. Think about like young kids already know that, but it's when we get older and we get into do this, don't do that, and the dieting industry and the way society is, and we start to ignore our instincts. So we're here to help empower and teach you how to get back to that. So yeah, the mistakes that you could be feeling defeated and depleted, ignoring your instincts, and then also it leads to the expecting the quick and easy. And it's understandable. Our society's like that, right?
Yeah, everything's fast.
Get things done, be quick, be efficient. And in many cases, like in a workplace, that can be a good thing. But then when it comes to our lifestyle, it can transfer over to that, but it's not. We can't be expecting the quick and easy when it comes to, especially losing weight, right? Yeah. So a healthy weight loss is 0.5 pound to 2 pounds a week, or 2 to 8 pounds a month. That's not a lot, right? So if you're seeing these programs, or if you're feeling, oh, I want 10 pounds gone this week, like that's not realistic. You could be losing water, you could be losing muscle, compromising your metabolism, right? So it has to be slow and steady. Think about like the turtle versus the hare, right? Who wins in the long run?
Yeah. Absolutely. Perfect. Okay, so some of the solutions here. So portioning your plate properly. So there's a picture of a nicely portioned plate there. So just even knowing, this is again some of the foundations, like some of the basic things, the information that are small changes, but can actually have a big influence on things. So yeah, that's a very pretty colorful plate as well, I might mention.
Yeah. So just to add a little bit to that, right? So to explain what that 80-20 rule is. So it means like focusing on eating the good stuff, like healthy foods, lean proteins, veggies, fruits, whole grains, all that stuff 80% of the time. And then 20% of the time is leaving that room for like your treats and fun foods, whatever. If you're a chocolate lover, you like your glass of wine at night like I do, like whatever it is, right? Like that's where that fits in. If the foundation is following the plate model and getting 50% veggies, and you can see the healthy portions there, it's all good, right? We get so caught up in, should I leave the carbs out, or should I have fish over chicken? Like those are such minor details. If you just follow that balanced approach by ditching the diets and doing the 80-20, it just makes things so much easier and more flexible, so more realistic. Yeah, so this we mentioned this before, right? Like 80% of people who go on a diet to lose weight regain it. So are you part of that 80%? Right? And that's what we see all the time.
That's probably more than that for what we see.
Yeah, for sure. And if you look at the studies of people who have lost weight and kept it off, they have adopted a flexible approach, so that 80-20, they've been a slow, sustainable approach, and they've focused on those habits versus focusing on anything too restrictive or too unrealistic.
Okay, so the second, just wrapping up the first secret of reflection. So having, habit tracking is actually something, and actually Jody and I just decided that we're going to give an extra bonus for those of you sticking around to the end of a daily planner to track your time for the day. So this really can help lead into healthy habits by first tuning into what your daily lifestyle is like and where your time's actually going.
Yeah.
So it just reminded me about that. So yeah, you're gonna have to stick around and we'll make sure we get that to you. But yeah, again, one of the reflection things can be figuring out, what is my day like? Tracking your habits and figuring out how you form habits is really important too. And that's actually something we like talking about as well. If anybody reads Gretchen Rubin, she has a really great template in her new book about how you form habits. Another aspect is overcoming and planning for obstacles. That's huge because life happens. Jody and I know that too.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah.
Things come up. Big things, small things.
Oh yeah, and having to kind of navigate through that, and again, just recognizing that it doesn't have to be all or nothing, right? It's just every day's a new day, and what are the positive things you can do in that day? So that's part of kind of having to laugh at yourself sometimes and setting those goals in a realistic way, which we're going to make sure that we teach you guys today. So this is the SMART goal principle. So if you may be familiar with it, this might be something new. And this is as well on the action planner. On the second page, you're going to have the opportunity to write down a couple, could be 1, 2, or 3 SMART goals that you want to set for yourself starting today. So a SMART goal is specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely.
Yeah, you might have done them for work, but it's important to do it for ourselves and for our lifestyle. It's the same way. It's these small sustainable things that are going to habits that will really lead us forward. So again, this is taking a few moments to really reflect on this, and see what comes to your mind right now, but might be really important to you. And then make sure it's all of these things under the SMART. So make sure you do that by the end of this webinar, or do it right after. Take 1 minute and make yourself do it right after. Don't let it sit because you'll just put it on the back burner. Yeah, and just to give you guys a quick example. So if you're thinking, oh, I want to lose weight, I want to lose 10 pounds, that's good, but that's not a SMART goal. So a SMART goal would be focused on your actions that are going to help you achieve that weight loss. So it could be, I'm going to start going for walks 2 times a week for 30 minutes after work. So putting in those details makes it measurable, asking if it's achievable, and then fitting in the timelines around it. Okay, so go ahead and give that a try. And we also want you to think about, as you're thinking about this, what makes you excited about creating the goal? So as you're writing it out, make sure this is exciting for you, and really reflect what that's going to do for you moving forward. Yeah, and make sure it's relevant to you and not what you think someone else wants. Oh, yes, definitely relevant to you. Yes, you bet. Yeah, and then so overall, it's part of that transformation, like putting like the old way, gone down the highway and onto the new way, right? Yeah, visualizing, yourself loving your body and lifestyle again. Again, what does that feel like? What does that look like? Yeah. So healthy habits. So when we're forming healthy habits, we're kind of reiterating this. We just made a little diagram here about what we believe you need to form healthy habits. So some challenge, we're choosing those habits correctly, and we're tracking those things. Yeah, and another quick tip to ask yourself is when you make that SMART goal, say, how confident do I feel that I can achieve this on a scale 1 to 10? 10 is full confidence, 1 is no confidence, and you want to be able to rate yourself at least a 7. Okay, so 70% confidence. If you're like, ooh, okay, I said I'm going to walk for an hour 5 times a week, and you're like, I only have like a 4 out of 10 confidence, scale it back. Right? Because you want to set yourself up for success, not for failure. So start small and grow and build from there. So yeah, just choosing, if you want to keep doing things the old way, or how it might look for you to start creating healthy habits instead of a total overhaul. Yes, start going about it a totally new, different way, but in a way that, in 6 months and 12 months is going to add up and make such a difference in your life. So moving on to our second big secret, so everyone get out your action planners. We want to talk about reorganizing and what that does and what that entails. So, and we want to bring you from depleted to energized. So by reorganizing things and implementing some of the tips and tools, we can get more energized, feel better, and that keeps feeding the habits too. You know, once we make one small change, we feel better, we feel accomplished, and it's easier to get to that next goal.
Yeah, and so it's really about setting yourself up for success. So part of our, you know, our secret step number 2 in this reorganization is part of it is recharging yourself. So we talked about this briefly before, is like, you know, that fun side or that self-care. So putting yourself first. And sometimes we think, oh, okay, well, I'm gonna, you know, maybe I'm gonna do some sort of workout, but you don't really like it, right? So you actually choose something that you love doing, like maybe you like going for massages, or you like getting your nails done, or you just like to have some space to yourself in a coffee shop without, like, it's just you time, right? Reading a book or whatever the case is. So something that makes you feel recharged and takes your stress down.
We don't always think of that, of planning time for ourselves.
No,
but yeah, it's
super important.
And we really found that with our last group through our program, is that was one of the biggest things they said, actually, was the self-care. It seems no big, it's huge.
And it's not just your food and exercise. Like sometimes we, like, those are important aspects, but it's like, what else? Like, totally just like that fun factor, self-care is so important. And then of course, like, regenerating through healthier nutrition as well. We talked about the plate model, and we talked about the 80-20 rule. So those are some basic foundations, but again, it doesn't have to be the complete overhaul. Maybe part of your reorganization is just getting into a meal planning routine, or clearing some of the junk out of your cupboards, right? Simple steps.
Okay. Yeah, and then, oh, did you say reboot?
Yeah, so then moving forward to, like, kind of the rebooting is thinking, like, if your obstacle is, like, I always, I know I just overeat, whatever it is, at night, right? So maybe part of your reorganizing is, again, to maybe portion out, say, your favorite chips or chocolate into smaller containers. So that way you're just going to have one and not be eating out of the whole bag. So all of these are part of the reorganization.
Okay, so progress versus perfection. So we want to turn self-sabotage into success. So again, we talked about making the small habits, so sustainable habits, so that you get that, you know, you feel successful. Realizing what's realistic. So yeah, just being careful to make sure it's realistic for you, whatever goal you're making, and anticipating those obstacles. Yeah,
and just a quick example for this one is, for instance, and this is often what I hear is, okay, well, I know I need to, you know, eat less sugar, or clean up my diet. So I'm like, I'm not going to eat any chocolate ever again. So is that realistic, right? If that's your favorite food, is it realistic for you to never have chocolate ever again? But if you say, okay, well, maybe I'm going to have like this small 1 ounce portion every night, like, that's more realistic, and you still get to enjoy your favorite foods.
Okay, so and the next step here is of reorganizing, so fueling the frenzy. So some examples there is just even positive self-talk. So giving ourselves some credit for what we actually do
versus what we don't do. Or we
because it's so easy. Oh my gosh, like, in your head to just be like, oh my goodness, as if you didn't do that again, or you did do this. We're so hard on ourselves, I think, especially as women, but men too, actually. We're so hard on ourselves. So it's really important to actually change how you're thinking and add some positive self-talk in. Sleep hygiene, that could be another aspect. What's that? That's just the bottom line. You need 7 hours of sleep. It's something we like to talk about more, but all the research shows that people need, unless you're in this very, very tiny percentage of people, you need a solid 7 hours. If you're tossing and turning, if you have hot flashes, anything else like that, you're still waking up. Those 7 hours are broken. It's not the same. So that's huge. Also, tools and no-nonsense nutrition from trusted sources. That's so important. We're not jumping around from diet plan to diet plan. And other tools like meal planning. Meal planning.
Yes, I like to talk about meal planning a lot. So again, everyone, different things work for them in terms of getting into that meal planning. But part of the first step could be, if you feel like, I hear it all the time, I don't have time to meal plan or make food. Well, that's where the personal time chart that we're going to send you guys, for those that stay right to the end, it helps you break down and see where are those little moments of time in your day and your week where you can actually fit this in. Because the time you spend investing in meal planning, you gain back, you totally gain it back. Absolutely. So we wanted to share with you guys one of the some positive feedback that we had received from one of our past clients that worked with us. So she had said that I've lost weight and kept it off, which is really exciting. I really like that we didn't actually have to follow a diet plan, and it was more about lifestyle changes. I learned to eat less when emotional and more out of actual hunger. Let's face it, no one has the time to count calories and count points. This program is all about a realistic lifestyle that also helps to balance out your life to make more me time.
So we thought that was really reflected well what the program's all about, and that's our goal. So yeah, thank you, Jessica.
Okay, so hopefully this might be what you resonate with, but the goal is to kind of steer you away from this to feeling more energized.
So put up your hand if you feel like this sometimes.
Yes, I'm sure a lot of you do.
Yeah.
Oh, I definitely see some hands there. Okay. Yeah, don't be shy.
And yeah, think about your self-care as you're saying that.
Absolutely.
Okay, so again, we want you loving your body and lifestyle again. This is the goal, you know, and having enough energy to play with your kids, your grandkids, your pets, you know, to enjoy your life, right? I think we get caught up in, you know, just getting through our work day, doing other things for other people, and we forget it's really important to have energy left over for ourselves. That's the whole point of doing everything we do.
So that leads into, which is like our third step or third secret, right? Which is reinforcing.
Okay, so we want to bring you from feeling defeated to enlightened.
So part of this is the reinforcing is like sometimes we set a goal or we reach it, but then what, right? So it's committing to it and being consistent with it.
And committing to ourselves. Yeah. You know, we make so many commitments outside of ourselves, but commit to yourself. Like once we've reflected and know what's important to us, commit to that.
Yeah, and it's part of like having just like those personal boundaries, and often we feel like we can't have them for ourselves, but we're telling you can and you should, and it's super important. So if anything, really start to think about that in those small little things.
Honestly, that's one of the biggest things, if you can take away today, that can make a big shift for yourself.
Oh, absolutely. So this is a consistency of what we've talked about already, right? The 80-20 rule, healthy portion sizes, and this doesn't mean like by consistency is a lot different than like being very rigid, right? So you can be consistent, but still, like a good quote is like everything in moderation, even moderation, right? So it's okay to overeat sometimes, especially like the Super Bowl was this past weekend, right? Like if you had wings and fries and whatever, like it's all good. If you follow the 80-20 rule and you're consistent with it, it still allows those flexible times. Okay.
Okay, so reinforcing well. So ending emotional eating. So that's a big one and really applies to a lot of people. So things to think about with this: what is zapping your energy? And what are some of the biggest stressors in your life? So this is a big question to ask yourself, because this is one of the things that can lead into more emotional eating.
Yeah, it's a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
It's a vicious cycle.
And that comes back to the self-care. So the tuning in, taking time to unwind is huge. To put an end to emotional eating and picking your portions. So, you know, if you're having that snack attack, make sure you pick your portion as you're doing that, and don't just grab the bag of chips or the carton of ice cream.
Yeah, and often it's and part of the key things for the whole emotional eating side of things is like finding that alternate to help you decompress and reduce your stress. So again, it comes down to the self-care, which we were talking about, because emotional eating, it's a way to suppress or soothe negative emotions. It could be stress, anger, fear, boredom, sadness, loneliness. We can often call it comfort eating. And so usually when you're stress eating or emotional eating, you're feeling or craving like sweet things, cakes, cookies, maybe more salty, crunchy foods like chips and things like that.
Depends. I have a sweet tooth, so I'm all over the sweet stuff.
Yeah, everyone's a little bit different,
Everyone's
but
different.
You know you're an emotional eater if you feel like afterwards, if that kind of that guilt and shame kicks in, right? If you kind of tune out during the emotional eating episode, and then afterwards it kind of like that swarming, the guilt and the shame, and then it creates that cycle. So we want to help you guys break free of that. But if you're feeling, again, maybe just talking about this and you're like, oh gosh, this really resonates with me, you're not the only one. So 75% of all people that overeat is for emotional reasons. It's so common. It's so common.
Okay, so this relates back to your action planner. The number one emotional eating hack is doing mindful eating. So, and this centers around being 100% present in the eating experience.
Yeah.
So,
I know.
Who here is 100% present for every eating experience? Put up your hand. Probably no one's going to raise their hand.
Yeah, it's really, because again, it's that fast-paced, frenzied life, right?
Mm-hmm. And actually, a good question is, who eats lunch at their desk? Who keeps working and eating their lunch or sometimes even their dinner? Actually, I'd like to see that with
yeah, look at all the hands being raised. But we're kind of asking them to do that today because we're watching the webinar.
Oh, yeah, that's true, right?
But you know what? You can still eat mindfully with some degree of distraction if you're just more present in the moment.
Yeah, or even taking, and that's why I tell a lot of my clients too, like even if you know you're going to be working through lunch or doing this webinar through lunch, even at the beginning, centering yourself. You know, taking honestly 10 seconds, breathing, tuning into your body, a deep breath in, let it out to how am I feeling, what's going on right now, okay, and then continue through. Even that, it resets things a bit.
It does, and helps slow things down.
It slows it down a bit, exactly.
And that's what's really needed for sure. Okay, so think about what actions can you take now? So based on what we've talked about so far, maybe now that we've talked about a few more things, now would be a good time for you to go onto your action planner and start to make some of those smart steps that you would like to make, okay? So it's getting you towards more healthy habits that are gonna build up in the long run.
Yeah, we challenge you to finish that by the end or take 2 minutes at the end of this webinar and get it done.
Yeah.
Just fill it out.
Awesome. So yeah, we just have a couple minutes left, so we're gonna kind of fly through the last part here for you guys.
Yeah, we should have a few minutes for questions.
Yeah, a few minutes for questions. So it's all about how to create that lasting lifestyle and healthy weight and get you to feeling more comfortable and confident and having the right support and feeling more confident with the choices that you're making to kind of achieve that healthy ideal weight for yourself. Yeah,
so kind of decide, is that what you're going for, or do you think it has been working for you doing the quick fixes and the cookie cutter diets?
Yeah, and so maybe in the long run, right, just having the opportunity to kind of de-stress a little bit, right, and relax a little bit about it all.
Take some of the pressure off ourselves, right?
Absolutely, yeah. So we can relax like our pets do.
Which is a super cute picture here. And we're not sure why you showed up today on this webinar. It could be you're sick of yo-yo dieting. You're confused about the information out there, so food and nutrition confusion. You know you're an emotional eater and you want that to change. Or maybe it's just you need some more accountability and motivation. We also hear that a lot. People just need someone else to be accountable for because they feel like they can't, either they'll start something, they just drop off, or they have trouble even getting started at all.
So and totally normal. We all need help with different things, for sure.
So we want to quickly just summarize what we learned today. So we learned we need to ditch that diet.
Absolutely. And we also need to pitch the perfection, right? And focus on the progress and not focus on the perfection. So small simple,
sustainable habits.
I know. We love saying that.
We just love it so much. We learned a little bit about mindful eating, so we know the importance of ending emotional eating and being a little more mindful.
So flipping emotional eating into being a mindful eater is what it's all about.
So, so how do you implement all of these tools and get the results you want for the long term? So it's kind of up to you. You can do it. Definitely, we've given you lots of tools. You have the action planner. You got lots to get you started. Because like we said, we just even making one of these goals can make a big impact in the long term, and that's what we're all about. So it's up to you. If you want to take the time for implementing some of these strategies, you have the time to do that on your own. If you're okay with a little trial and error, if you have a lot of motivation, drive, and you have a great support network already, maybe you're a part of a group already, that's great. Or if you need a system or professional support team to help you get the results a little faster. And
so we're going to share with you a little bit about how we could help you with that. So as we mentioned, like Lisa and I, our mission is to help educate and empower busy women just like you to kind of get over those dead-end diets, embrace sustainable, healthy habits, and really just love your body and your lifestyle again.
Yeah, that's our mission. Okay, so like we were saying, it's not our program and the way we do things. It isn't for people who want a strict protocol, because I've actually had some people come in and say, okay, I want something super strict, and Yeah, we just don't believe that's maintainable or for the best. So if you're in that category, it's not for you. It's for people who want to invest in themselves, and that you have a bit of time to invest in yourself. So you have that space, and honestly, it's more about mind space than anything else.
Yeah, it's more about mind space, because it's all about, we know how busy you are with like day-to-day activities, and so everything, like our whole philosophy, because we're exactly the same way, is how to fit in those healthy habits amidst all that, right?
Exactly.
But it's that mental mind space and that readiness for it.
So it's designed to support busy professionals and women from going from dieting and discouragement to a healthy weight and to loving your body and lifestyle again. So that's the big picture of why we put this together.
And where we hope to see you guys go.
Yeah.
So designed together overall is to help you feel more fabulous, more energized, really just like your best, healthiest self, and really empower you to feel like every day you have the confidence that the daily choices you're making are the right choices, right? So you kind of have that purpose and that motivation, and you have the right knowledge and support kind of all looped in together. So part of what we offer in our Craving Healthy Habits program is these are some of the key components. And from our participants, when we ran it last year, they were saying that these were really helpful for them. So it's a 12-week program. And so we have online workshops and coaching calls. So they alternate. So there's one a week where you're always going to get that support. We have a lot of resources that we're going to pass along too. So a startup guide that really helps you hone in more on the whole reflection aspect of changing about how you're going about things. We also have a private Facebook group, so it's kind of like that 24/7 support where you can work together and you can work with us, answer your questions, and just if you're having a bad day, right, we're there to kind of help shift that for you.
Yeah.
And we have weekly worksheets as well. So this is kind of just a little bit of a taste of how we'll go about things with our action guide, but it's really about that ongoing reflection and kind of working through things so you can start to really be more accountable and feeling more on track with everything.
This all gives you the good information, the accountability as you're going through the program, which is great. So normally something like this, it's a 12-week program, would cost about $3,000 when that's all added up. So we're really happy you guys showed up on the webinar, and we're actually offering the program is $497 is what we're offering it for, because we just really believe that's why we did it as a group program, and we really want to bring as many people through this as possible so you can experience the big changes that happen with this type of program. And we have that, let's see, we have, if you register by February 9th, so that's this Friday, right?
Yeah, this Friday.
Yeah, if you register by this Friday, you get, we're actually putting it to $397.
Yeah, so it'll be $100 off the $497, so it'll be $397.
So
yeah, and so that all gets you towards that lifestyle change approach, right? And that's why we're doing it for 12 weeks, because it takes time to change our habits, okay? And so we want to be there to give you that support for 12 whole weeks to really let you start to like get those new habits sink in a more confident way.
Because the research shows it takes at least that amount of time. So people really start solidifying things by that time, and we can take it from there. But that's why we made it that length as well.
Yeah.
So there's a link here. So if you'd like more information, or if you're like, oh my gosh, I'm ready to go, then you can sign up on that link there for our program. So yeah, it's called the Fab Healthy Habits Program with yours truly, Jody and Lisa. But we really want to leave time for questions as well. So we'd love to hear from you if you have any comments or questions, or something that really resonated or came up for you. We'd really like to hear it. Maybe talk about what you have jotted down in your action planner. We would love to hear from you.
Yeah, and we realize it is 1 o'clock, so if anyone has to hop off because you have a meeting or something else you have to get to, it's all good. Thank you so much for coming. We really appreciate it. Looks like everyone that came that stayed on right to the end.
Yeah, which is amazing.
So check out your email not too long after we end the webinar. We're going to be sending you the time tracker bonus. Oh, and speaking of bonuses, those that sign up as well by the early bird this Friday, we're also going to be sending you guys a Busy Women's Meal Planning Guide. So we've been working really hard. We revamped it from last year. It's amazing. It's valued at $97, and you guys are going to get it for free that sign up for the program by Friday.
Yeah, and I think that's an amazing bonus, because we hear that actually a lot from people as well. It just, you feel like you have a big resource starting out with that. You know, so it's easier again to slot a little bit of time and plan some meals. makes it a lot easier and straightforward for people. So that's a really big one.
Yeah, it gives you all the recipes, sample 7-day meal planner. And because like we're saying, like we do adopt that flexible approach, and we don't give you that hard structure, but sometimes it's still good to have that resource, that kind of that go-to when you're feeling like it's just really crazy and you want someone to take the guesswork out for you. So that's why we developed that. Okay, awesome. So yeah, any questions you guys?
From before?
Let's see here. Any questions? You just go to the bottom of your screen and hit click on questions or Q&A, and you could ask us a question or make a comment. I think. Okay, none are popping up here. Oh, one of the questions that are popping up is, when does the program start? Just to clarify, that starts on Monday. So Monday, February the 12th.
Oh, yes. Yeah, so that's the day that it's starting. But you need to sign up by Friday for all those bonuses.
For the bonuses and the early bird, And yeah, regardless, we're just so appreciative that you guys joined us today. We also have an open Facebook group called the Craving Healthy Habits Group. We'll link to that as well. It's on the action planner too. Or sorry, the action guide. You can join our Craving Health community on Facebook. Just if you're at that place where you're wanting to kind of go about things on your own, by all means, join us there, and we're still there to give you support.
Yeah, there's lots of great resources, and we're there too. So you can also ask questions in there. We'd love to see you in there.
Yeah, and if anyone, if you're feeling, well, I have a few more questions, or I'm not quite sure what the next best step is for me, you can also book a Craving Clarity call with us. So it's just a chat for 15 minutes where we can get to know you a bit more one-on-one and help you sort through what would be maybe the next best step for you.
Yeah, exactly, because people are different spots. So we can help you figure out, what do you need right now? Is this program appropriate for you? Maybe it's not. Everyone's at different points, so then we can kind of talk through that. So we can definitely, and we always offer that up. If you want to chat, we're there to chat about it, because again, we're just really passionate about bringing this information to more people. Getting some real information out there to create those lasting.
Trying to create a new revolution. Right? Slow and steady.
One person at a time.
Exactly.
Or a group at a time.
We're getting there. Okay, guys. Well, any more questions? We don't see any other popping up. We'll give you one more chance here. Okay.
Or anything that really resonated with you.
Yeah,
share that as well. We'd love to hear what made sense, what you weren't sure about. But yeah, we also totally understand that your day is busy and you'll definitely get the recording.
Yeah, okay, guys. So yeah, we're going to send out the recording, and we're also going to send out the slides as well. Oh, I think we have some questions.
Oh, sorry.
Okay,
I think we missed some.
I think maybe a few were popping up a little.
Sorry about that, guys.
Okay.
We're a little new to Zoom.
Let's answer these questions. Okay. No, they all popped in at the same time.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You guys were thinking.
I was thinking and percolating.
Okay, so question number 1. Can you sign up for the Nutrition Transformation Program with a partner? Okay, so you guys may have been looking at just the Craving Health website and some of the one-on-one dietitian services, and one of the packages there is Nutrition Transformation. And yes, you can. You can do the Nutrition Transformation with a partner. It would be, we consider that like partner nutrition counseling, so it's the base rate plus a half. Okay, so if you're wondering about the pricing for that, it would be 1.5, not double. And that way you guys come to your appointments together and work together through that transformation program.
And to clarify, that's an in-person program.
Yeah, that's an in-person. That's separate than what we're talking about today. And then next question, do most extended healthcare benefits cover the program? That is an amazing question. Unfortunately, no, it does not cover our group programs, not the Craving Healthy Habits fully online program. It would cover any of the one-on-one packages that you could find on cravinghealth.ca under dietitian services. Those would be fully covered, but they're one-on-one in person. So that's the difference.
Yeah, so when it's a group program, it ends up being less expensive, and sometimes it's easier for people because this is all online.
Exactly.
Versus in person, which is covered, but it's generally more expensive because it's a per hour or per service. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, so it's a little different.
And then, we had a comment from one of our participants that accountability works for them.
Huge.
Great. And it is. It's totally
right.
And
it can be huge for people. Yeah.
And then last one is thanks so much for both of you for all the info. Oh, you're welcome. Food for thought, as they say. Yeah, looking to feel more positive about food and making some lasting changes in 2018 as well. Exercise. It's Lindsay from Grimsby. Okay, awesome. Thanks, Lindsay. Thanks for coming. We're so glad you were here.
Thanks for joining us.
And then also, it looks like Lindsay had a question. Do you have experience with clients that have food sensitivities to make diet changes as well?
For sure. People will have different allergies or sensitivities, and that can be taken into context, of course, whenever we're
For sure.
Making recommendations. Yeah, definitely. It's not, again, we're not saying definitely eat this, definitely don't eat that. It's not about that. If you don't feel good eating a certain food, yeah.
Oh, for sure. And if you
like lactose intolerance is huge,
that's
right?
Huge,
it's huge.
And there's always other foods that you can substitute in for those foods that you have sensitivities to. So we can definitely work with you generally if you join the program, or maybe depending on your situation, maybe benefit more from one-on-one dietitian services. So yeah, let us know if you have any more questions, Lindsay. Okay, awesome. So it looks like everything then, and we're a few minutes past, and lots of people here have had to jump off because it's after the 1 o'clock. So those of you that are still on, thanks again for staying with us, and hopefully we'll be in touch again soon.
Okay, thanks everyone. Have a great rest of your day.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Just in case.